One of the biggest reasons lawyers dream about opening their own law firm is for freedom. But then something funny happens. They leave a job where someone else controlled their schedule, and then they build a law firm that controls their schedule instead. I didn't want that for myself, and you don't want that for yourself either. So over the past 10 years, I have intentionally built my law firm around my life instead of building my life around my law firm. And today I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like. I'm Darcel Lobo, a solo attorney who teaches you how to open and build a successful law firm. So let's ensure your solo law firm is one that supports the freedom and flexibility that you're looking for. First, we have to kick things off with keeping your overhead low. I have stressed this to you so many times in all my videos. When I opened my law firm 10 years ago, I had $2,500 to open my law firm, and that included my first month's rent at my brick and mortar office, which I still have, by the way. And so we want to make sure that we keep your out-of-pocket low when opening your law firm. You really don't need a lot to open a law firm. And if you're going to be virtual, you probably could do so for under $1,000. You really don't need a lot. You don't need all the bells and whistles. You don't start adding those bells and whistles to your law firm until you have the revenue coming in to support paying for those things. Do not go into debt. Don't take out a loan. Don't use a credit card to open your law firm. It is not necessary. And if you're not sure what to expect for expenses in opening your law firm, make sure you've grabbed my free business plan. I have created one for you that kind of outlines what to expect for those initial out-of-pocket expenses, and then also what your reoccurring monthly expenses may be in your law firm. It's free. Make sure you've grabbed that. Next, we can't talk about freedom and flexibility without talking about your time and your boundaries, or lack thereof if you're not good about enforcing them. Because remember, boundaries are about you, not about anyone else. People talk about boundaries and they think like, oh, if somebody, does this, I'm going to put a boundary up around them. Like, that's not how that works. A boundary is for yourself that says if somebody does X, I am going to do Y. It is about controlling yourself and your own actions in response to someone else. So what does this look like in a law firm? Let me give you some concrete examples. 1, not leaving your email open all day. Do you know what a time suck it is to have your email open all day and how unproductive you will be if your email is open all day long? It can be open for certain periods of time, that's fine, but you need to get work done. You have a business to run. You cannot have your email open all day long when you're supposed to be working on client matters or marketing or just running the business of your law firm. So figure out what times a day you're going to be checking email and stick to that and follow that. If you say you're going to check email at 9, 12, 2, and 5, then that's when you check the email, and you better not be on there at 3 o'clock because that was not the time that you said you're going to check email. Next, I would talk about phone calls. I do not accept any unscheduled phone calls. If anybody calls my office right now, you will not reach me. And that is by design. I am busy. You are a law firm owner. You are busy. I know there are a few practice areas where there may be more demand for the attorney to be readily available. The one that comes to mind is like PI or maybe criminal. But for most of your practices, you do not need to be immediately available at a client's beck and call right when they call your phone. Because how can you get work done for that client or any other client if you are being interrupted by a phone call? And sure, maybe it literally is a 3-minute phone call. But here's the thing. If you're in the middle of writing a motion and you get that phone call, and maybe it is only 3 minutes, but you have lost your focus time in working on that motion. And you know how it is if you're writing something and you're kind of in the groove of doing your drafting and then you get disrupted? Trying to get back into that groove of continuing that motion, that's going to take you more than just those 3 minutes. And if that is happening 5 times a day, 10 times a day, like no wonder you can't get your work done. No wonder you may find yourself working nights, working weekends, because you're accepting unscheduled phone calls. And you may not realize how those little bits of time all day long really add up over the course of a day, a week, a month. That does not mean that you don't have phone calls with clients, but you have dedicated times in which you make those phone calls. And so it gets scheduled, or you return calls every day between 4 and 5, or whatever time works for you. If it's morning, afternoon, evening, I don't care. Just pick a time and stick to it. And another big one on my list is client appointments. I will not see clients every day. I used to. Earlier on, I was available 5 days a week. That is not the case anymore. I went down to Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays a number of years ago, and now I've kind of tightened that up to Tuesdays and Thursdays primarily only for seeing clients. Because on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I have a business to run. I have legal work to do. I cannot have my day disrupted by seeing clients 5 days a week. So that does mean that on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I am very busy. I am in appointments all day long, whether they're by phone, by Zoom, in person. I offer all the options for meeting with me. And so I'm doing consultations, I'm doing signing appointments on Tuesdays and Thursdays. My time is very tight on those days. I am pretty exhausted on those days. I am not going to lie. It is not a piece of cake. Sometimes those days are rough. And sometimes there's days, like I do estate planning and probate work also. And so sometimes there's really heavy conversations that I'm having, a lot of emotions with clients. And that is very just exhausting and draining, just for all the sympathy and empathy that you are giving to clients and the space you're holding for clients. Like, it's a lot that sometimes I don't think lawyers give enough credit to, all the weight that you carry from our clients' issues. Like, that's a real thing. And as much as you try to separate that from your personal life, like, there's still times where those things come home with me. And so if I have a day where I've seen 8 clients in a day, and a lot of them have had, a loss of a loved one or other heavy things happening, like, it can be kind of hard sometimes, but that's the only way I can run my schedule how I run it now, which is under about 25 hours per week in my law firm. I have designed it that way, but there is a cost to it, and that is having heavier client days. But that means Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, I don't see clients. I have the ability to not just get legal work done and to run my business, but also you're not going to catch me at a Costco on a weekend. I go on a Wednesday morning. I get my groceries on a weekday morning. Like, I'm not doing that on the weekends. You will not find me grocery shopping on the weekend. But that's because, again, I have carved out my calendar in this way. So figure out what your schedule needs to look like for you. Again, what you want for your life. We're building this law firm around the life that you have envisioned for yourself, but you have to be intentional with it. You have to create it. Next, let's talk about consultations. I used to do free consultations. I did that for years. I would say 5, 6-ish years ago, I went to charging for consults. I charged $195 for a 30-minute consultation with me in my law firm, which has done a great deal of helping to avoid tire kickers, no-shows, people shopping for the cheapest attorney in town. So if you have a contingency type practice, that might not work. I acknowledge that. But for most of my other practice areas, your estate planning, your real estate, your family law, charge a consultation fee if you're not doing so. Because even if you don't take the client on, I promise you are still delivering value to that client. And I've heard so many attorneys say oh, I can't charge for a consult if I don't take the client on. That's not true. You have taken time off of your calendar. You are giving them the benefit of your experience, your education. You are giving them value in those 30 minutes, in that 1 hour, even if it's a 20-minute consult. Charge $100. I don't care what you charge, but start charging if you want to have more serious consultations on your calendar. Now let's get into the money. Let's talk about flat fees and hourly work, because this is always a hot topic with my lawyers. Now, if you want to do flat fees, I will acknowledge you need to have some kind of experience or some basis for knowing what to charge and how long it's going to take you to do the work and what scope of experience that you need to have to be able to do the work on a flat fee. So if you are brand new to practicing law right out the door, right out of law school, you may need to do a little bit more hourly than you may like until you kind of figure out what flat fee is going to work for you. But I am a huge proponent of using flat fees whenever you can, as soon as you can. First of all, it gives clarity to you and to your client. The client knows what to expect. I can't tell you how many times clients are so alleviated to know that they're not going to be billed for every phone call, every email. If they're on a flat fee, like, that's just included. When I do my estate plans, if they have a question, they have an email, they can just ask. I'm not going to bill them for it. If I'm doing hourly work, the client is being billed for that. I would say a good at least 90% of my work is flat fee. I do have a few hourly matters for various reasons, but it's pretty minor. I want flat fees. And another reason for having flat fees or a vote for flat fees over hourly is that with my hourly law firm owners, do you know how many conversations that I have with law firm owners who do not get their billing done, who do not get invoices out? That is a common reoccurrence. If this is you, you are not the only one. I promise you. I think just about all of my clients who do hourly work are behind on getting out invoices, don't get them out, don't collect on them, don't charge enough for a retainer. Like, it is not just you, it is just across the board, something that falls to the back burner. And we're talking about you getting paid. You getting paid should not be on the back burner. But I get it. You're busy running a law firm, doing illegal work, managing employees, all these things that are vying for your time and attention. If we can switch how you do your work and how you get paid, so you are not having to deal with not being paid because you didn't get a bill out, like your own procrastination is costing you money, you're leaving money on the table, like, we cannot let that keep happening to our law firm owners. So for that reason alone is a huge reason why I am a big supporter of going to flat fees. If you need to have a scope of work for flat fee and then have a hybrid hourly component for any additional work, like, okay, I'll give you that. But let's try to incorporate some kind of flat fee structure into how you do your billing, into how you get paid. Next, we're going to get into the kind of the internal aspects of your law firm, like your systems and processes and automations. Like, how do you do what it is that you do? It cannot all be just in your head. I don't care if you are a true solo with no support. Everything cannot be in your head because you're going to get to a point where you have to hire some help. We want to get you to that point to where you are so busy that you are able to delegate administrative tasks off of your plate to someone else's plate. For that to work, for you to have a successful hire in your law firm, we need to have documented processes and procedures and just how we do what we do in our law firm. I do this in my law firm in two different ways. One, I have kind of a manual for my law firm, from everything down to how I want the phones answered, how I want files scanned in, how to organize things. I have templates for things. But then also for things that are done like online, like how to e-file something or how to fill something out, I record Loom videos. Loom, it's Loom. I think it's loom.com or loom.net, one of those two. But I use Loom to do a screen recording of whatever I'm doing because you're already filing the motion. You might as well hit record while you're filing the motion and then just talk out loud about what you're doing. I'm filing this motion. I'm clicking from this drop-down menu. You're going to click this county. It's going to be in this court. And the screen is recording what you're doing and your voiceover. So when you hire that first legal assistant or that first paralegal, you can say, hey, can you file this motion? There's a video on Loom on how to do it. And that empowers your new hire to be able to actually do something to help you. Like, they want to help you. One of the biggest issues, obstacles, problems that my law firm owners have in hiring new staff and training them, that the lawyer doesn't have time to train the staff. So let's just document these things as you're doing them to take some off of your plate when you do hire someone. And if you already have support in your law firm, if you already have an assistant or a paralegal or someone helping you, then they can create these processes. They can document what they do and how they do it. Because there may come a day where either they quit, they leave, they retire, you hire someone else. So we want to document these things now as we're doing them. Now let's get into tech. Now, I am not a super techie girl by any means at all. However, I am a solo. I do know that I am the only attorney. I have a paralegal, but there's only so much that we can do. And so I have learned early on in my law firm how to integrate and start to adopt technology. Not anything crazy, but something that kind of help us automate administrative tasks that we don't need to be doing, that you don't need a human to actually do. The biggest one for me is my calendar. For years, the procedure used to be that my paralegal or assistant would go back and forth offering dates and times to people and trying to get them scheduled. And it was not a good experience from the client perspective. And it was wasting my paralegal's time and going back and forth. So we started using Calendly so that people can just be offered a link to my calendar and they can pick a date and time that works for them. Now, I do not have this available on my law firm's website. Not anyone can schedule a consultation with me. I don't want to work with just anyone. So there is some filtering that happens before someone is offered the link to schedule with me. But once they have satisfied the criteria that they can work with us, then they are sent the link to be able to self-schedule. So this is an easy win. If you are having issues with your calendar, if that is one of the bottlenecks in your law firm, set up an online calendar. It's super easy. Again, you don't have to be real techie to know how to use it. And it sends auto reminders to the clients via text or via email about their appointments. You can customize the emails to say kind of like what they need to bring, what to expect, to again, reduce the number of interactions that you or your staff need to have manually with new clients. It saves a lot of time, and I think the cost is like $130 a year, like less than a third of my hourly rate. So very much worth it. So we said we want to build our law firms around the life that we want to have, right? Okay, so here's the deal. You need to be selective about what clients you accept. I know if you are new, if you're struggling with revenue, you want to just take on whoever you can and just figure it out and bear through it. I'm telling you, that is not the road to success in your law firm. You know when a potential client is a red flag. Even when they call your office, they have unreasonable demands. They want to talk to you right now. They want to try and negotiate your fees. Like there's a long list of client red flags that we can go through. You know what they are. You can just feel it in your gut when you talk to this person like, oh, they're going to take a lot of my time. They're going to be a drain. Yes, I would love to get this fee, but not all money is good money when it comes to clients. I promise you, I've been there. I've done that. I've been down this road many times myself and with my law firm owner clients. So I know it's easier said than done, especially when you have overhead to pay. You've got rent to pay. You've got malpractice insurance to pay. You have staff to pay. You want to pay yourself, right? But please, and by saying no to these red flag clients, that is going to enable you to say yes to clients who are a good fit for you. Because let's not forget this 80-20 rule, that 80% of your problems come from 20% of your clients. You know that's true. You know this is true. I know it's true. In my firm, and again, in my law firm owners, in their firms also, 100% true. So if we can eliminate the 20% of clients who create 80% of our problems and consume 80% of our time, imagine how many more good clients you can take on in your law firm. Think about how much more revenue you can generate in your law firm by not taking on the red flag clients. Let's not make your job harder. Let's make your job easier. That's what I want to do for you. So don't take on those red flag clients. Now, this next one is where we get a little bit selfish, and you probably can't do this one on day one in your law firm. Like, I fully acknowledge this, but we're going to work towards this for you in your law firm. And that's creating the calendar around the life that you want. Because again, a big part of why so many of you have gone solo or want to go solo is because you want more control over your time. You want flexibility. You want freedom. You want some autonomy. You want to practice law the way you think you should practice law, not what somebody else says. So let's figure out what your priorities are for you personally, like for yourself. What is important to you? I'll tell you what's important to me is that I don't see clients on Fridays. We already went over, I just do Tuesdays and Thursdays now. But I don't want to see clients on a Friday. Like, that doesn't work for me. And even more so, like on a Friday, I'm wrapping it up around 12 o'clock. If I'm working till 1, that's a late Friday for me. My goal, and I think I can do this by the end of this year. I'll follow up and let you know if I do it or not. The goal is to be closed on Fridays. That we work a 4-day work week and nothing happens on Friday in the firm. That is the goal. That's what I'm working towards. But aside from that, aside from Fridays, like, what else is important to you? Is there a workout class that you've been wanting to get to and you keep missing? Or have you not been able to take your daily walks that you really want to take and you know that you need, but you haven't been able to build that into your schedule? Or do you have young kiddos that you want to be able to pick up from school, or basketball practices that you want to go to? Or do you want to volunteer for Girl Scouts for your child? Like, what is important to you? And make sure it's things that aren't just important for your family or other people, but what about for you, right? We want to make sure we're prioritizing you in this picture also. It's not always about everyone else. I know, because I've been down this journey and I'm still in this journey of where most of your time is spent focused on everyone else, on your clients, on your staff, on the firm, on your spouse, on your children, on your extended families, on friends, right? Like, we give, and give to everyone else. We have to make sure we have something, a little something for us that we do for us that brings you joy, that allows you to prioritize yourself and put yourself on your own calendar. So please, if you are not on your own calendar on a weekly basis, if not daily, but at least weekly, to do something for you, please pull out your calendar and put something on your calendar for this week for you. Again, for you, not for kids, not for spouse, not for family, not for clients, not for anybody else, but for you. And this next one kind of relates to just the last one we went over, but like, we want to build a business that also can like function without you being available every second. Like, I want my law firm owners to be able to take a vacation. If you haven't had a vacation in 2026 yet, like, we have a problem. I want you to be able to build a firm that you can take a week off, take 2 weeks off, and you be able to rest assured that your law firm won't burn to the ground. I promise you it won't, okay? But you feel like it will. You feel like you can't step away from the office without things blowing up. And so what do you need to put into place so that you can have some time off? You deserve it. You deserve the time off. You work hard. So let's get some time off on your schedule, on your calendar. I will tell you, I don't think I take a lot of time off, but I do take quite a bit. What do? Let's see. I close my office for 2 weeks every December. So pretty much it coincides with my kids' school break. So those 2 weeks, office is closed. When I say closed, it's closed. And everybody gets paid while we're closed. Like, staff gets paid still. That's just, we worked hard all year. We need a break. We deserve it. So we close for those 2 weeks. Then I would say throughout the summer, I probably do 3 or 4 weeks of time off. We like to go camping as a family. We try to get out of town a few times camping. Okay, let me be honest, when I say camping, it's not really camping. We have a fifth wheel that we tow. It's 35 feet, so I've got a full kitchen, I've got a bathroom, I've got a bed, so I know I'm not really camping, but it's about as camping as you're gonna get. Like, that's as close as I'm gonna get to actual camping, is going in our fifth wheel. So we do that a few times a year. And then I would say spring break, I take off. We're usually out of the country for spring break. And then probably, I would say, let's see, we're in the middle of August right now. I'm going to probably take a week off in September. Just when my kids get back to school. Like, I swear to you, I do this every June. And if you have school age kids, you're going to feel me on this. When June comes, you're like, oh, okay, great. The kids are going to be out of school. I'm going to have more time. It's not going to be so crazy. And wrong. Like, wrong every year. Every year I tell myself this, and every year I get slapped in the face that it's not happening that way because the summer is chaos and my kids have different schedules and every week is different. And so I don't have the consistency or routine like I do with them being in school. So now I'm just like, ugh, okay, like they're going back to school in like 2 weeks. Okay. Like then I'm going to have a breather. So I'm going to take a week off so I can actually have some downtime while my kids are in school. So all that to say, that was a bit of a tangent. All that to say, let's work on building our law firm to allow us to still function when we're not around, when we're out of town for a week or 2 weeks. That's amazing to take 2 weeks off. And you can do it. I do it. My law firm owners do it. Like, you can do it too. But we have to be intentional and design it that way. It doesn't happen by accident. It's no mistake that I can be out of town for 2 weeks in the law firm, still have new clients coming in, still have revenue coming in, not have a dip. Like, that's all by design. It's not by mistake. And I think all these tips boil down to, like, what is the point of you opening your own law firm if you're just going to accidentally build another job for yourself that also controls your life and your time and that you're tied to and chained to and can't get away from? Then what was the point? Right? This is why we want to go out on our own, to have more control and multiple aspects over our earning potential, over our time, to have the freedom, like all the reasons why you're going out on your own. We want to make sure we are intentional in how we create that in our business, in our law firms for ourselves. All right, I think we've gone on for long enough. So that's going to wrap us up for today. But if you enjoy videos talking about going out on your own, opening your law firm, growing your law firm, make sure you stick around, make sure you subscribe. I'd love to have you join me here, and make sure you watch this video next.